They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Welcome, everyone, to SlashLot. I am your solo host today, Sam the Damned Lenz. Unfortunately, my co-hosts, Blakenstein Ginnathan and Casey the Killer Kelderman, were unable to attend due to life stuff today. But that's okay, because guess what? I have a surprise for everyone. I have a very special guest in the house. I have Jon Penkava.
Nailed it.
Dope. All right. So I've got Jon here. Jon, can I tell him how we met?
Sure, absolutely.
Jon and I met about a year and a half ago, probably maybe almost 2 years actually. Yeah. Oh my God.
October it'll be 2 years.
October it'll be 2 years. We met at horror movie trivia night out at the Sky Lounge in T. And we were like neck and neck with each other. And we were the only people that got the Mindhunter question right.
Absolutely. It wasn't even a Mindhunter question.
No.
That's how we got it right.
That's how we got it right. Exactly.
That's how we got it right.
Man, Jon, how have you been?
I've been good, man. I've been good.
Good.
I joined the fire department about a year ago, so I'm a firefighter now.
Nice. That's awesome.
Working out strong for a year, so I've been losing a bunch of weight. So yeah, I mean, just grinding, being a dad, and trying to find time for horror movies.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Jon, I'm really glad to have you on the podcast because, I mean, we met and bonded over horror, and so it just seems obvious that you would be a good guest for SlashLot. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey with horror, like how you got into it and where your love of the genre stems from?
Absolutely. First, though, I do want to just mention that I think I told you about one of these movies that night.
You did.
I think I told you about one of these movies that night almost 2 years ago. And so now that we're getting to talk about it, finally, I'm super hyped. But horror with me started, I was probably in high school. I mean, I'd watch some, I guess you could, edge horror, like the original Blade and stuff, I guess maybe. I mean, I watched, I Know What You Did Last Summer and the Screams and stuff, but,
right.
It was never really, got me hooked until probably the remake, the 2003 remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I saw it in theaters and got terrified, almost, legitimately walked out. I just felt such terror and stuff and fear, and, legitimately, I was hooked. My adrenaline was pumping, I could feel my pulse in my neck, and that just kind of got me on a wave. And then I got into the zombie flicks, obviously Romero and all his work. And then I got the greatest job of my life. I got to work at a Blockbuster before they closed down for about a year, and just being able to peruse and explore the horror section there really strengthened my horror game, so to speak. So, and then, yeah, like I said, now I'm a dad and stuff, and, 10, 15 years later, and, I still watch when I can, but it's hard when you have a very curious 5-year-old at home who never wants to go to bed. So, sometimes.
I'm sure. That's part of the reason that I don't have kids myself.
Yeah. You would be ruined.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be hard to go through the withdrawals of not getting to watch Chopping Mall whenever I wanted. So
it'd be like Batman without all the money and gadgets.
Yeah. You mean just crazy?
Yeah, just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would. Trust me, that's parenting in a nutshell. Crazy.
Oh man.
Number one side effect.
Well, Jon, it's good to have you on because, I mean, especially this topic feels very fitting because you mentioned the movie that you brought up to me the first night we met, and that was Martyrs,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
As in, like, your favorite movie.
My favorite horror movie and in my top 5 of favorite movies of all time.
Yep. I mean, and that's a movie that I've always associated with you because I remember you very, very adamantly mentioning that I needed to watch this. And I have finally, John. I can't wait to discuss it with you.
Me too.
And so, yeah, we're doing a French Extreme, a New Wave French Extreme episode where we're going to be talking about 3 of what are kind of considered standards of that. We're going to be doing Martyrs from 2007, 8.
It's in there.
There. Yeah. Foreign movies have 2 release dates here.
Yep.
You know?
Fun times.
Yeah. We are doing Inside, which is from 08, I think, as well.
I have 07 on that one.
Okay. And then we have High Tension by Alex Aja, which is the earliest one, correct? At 04?
03.
03. Yeah. Okay. So I'm like a year late on all of these.
No, you were a year early on Martyrs with me.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so, and obviously, before we get into the main course, we have to get into our fresh meat.
Oh, can I do it?
Yeah.
Fresh meat.
There we go. See, he does it better than me.
I hope I did, Casey proud.
Yeah, I think you did Casey proud there.
I hope so.
Casey, when you listen to this, you'll have to let us know.
Please do.
So, John, do you want to? How much fresh meat do you have here?
I have our 3 movies, which I can't talk about, and then I have 2 more.
2 more? Okay.
But for the record, 5 horror movies in a week for me.
That's pretty good.
It's scary good. I honestly, the last one I watched last night, and it was cutting it by the skin of my teeth for today's podcast. But I wanted to make sure I had something more than just one besides the 3 we're gonna talk about.
Well, I dig it. I've got 6 here.
12, 32.
So this was actually kind of a weird month for me. I didn't watch a lot of horror movies. I watched a lot of like the Addams Family and the Munsters, the TV series. But movie watching was not huge for me this year or this month. So
I mean, I heard you kind of delved into the Munsters and Addams Family thing.
Yeah. Are you referring to my comic strip?
Yes. Come on, man.
Okay, fine. Shameless self plug. Hey, go like the Ghoulfields on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. It's my it's kind of my take on the Spooky Family. It's a comic strip that I'm publishing. One a day, Monday through Friday, and I still have some fun stuff on the weekends. So check that out if you like that stuff.
It's amazing.
Well, thank you, John.
It's so good.
Appreciate it.
I can't believe you weren't going to mention it.
You're making me blush. I'm glad we don't have video component for these.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, we can kind of rotate. I can do 3 to your 1. Is that...
Works for me.
Okay. Well, the first thing that I watched was when the Chucky sci-fi teaser dropped.
Sure.
I had to revisit my favorite Child's Play movie. So I obviously revisited Bride of Chucky. Look, Child's Play 2 is incredible, and it's probably the best one, but my favorite will always be Bride.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah, I just dig it. It's one of 2 Ronnie Yu horror flicks that maybe aren't super good, but I just really enjoy. Yeah.
Hey, man, and let's face it, Dolly version of Jennifer Tilly?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is a very gosh, do you say sexy movie? Is this a sexy movie?
I mean, it's the sexiest Chucky movie.
It's definitely the sexiest Chucky movie.
I mean, I imagine that's a low bar, but
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I would go that far.
But it is very yes, very brazen in its sexuality, and I don't know, it's the weirdest, well, maybe not the weirdest one, but it's the most enjoyably weird one for me.
It's a very fun movie.
Yeah, it's the introduction to Tiffany, played by Jennifer Tilly, who's great. I love this movie. I love the Chucky's scarred design and all that. Like, all the stuff from Bride is so iconic, and I think this movie deserves its place near the top of everybody's Chucky rankings.
I mean, for sure. And, like, let's face it, they had really good chemistry. Like, yeah. I mean, they played off each other well. Yeah. You know.
Oh, I'm so glad they're both back for the Chucky series. I think that'll be really cool.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty hyped for it.
yeah. I also, I'm a huge fan of aquatic horror. It's Maria and I's favorite thing to watch together is like shark movies, essentially.
Okay, sure.
So I watched the new shark movie called Great White.
Okay.
It stars a bunch of people I don't know and Katrina Bowden from 30 Rock.
Okay.
And essentially it's kind of like Deep Blue Sea meets The Shallows in the fact that it's like little survival drama, little shark attack movie. Like there's both of those elements kind of evenly spread throughout the movie.
Sure.
Characters aren't great. Acting isn't great.
Is it fun?
I think that there is some fun, yes. I did actually have fun watching it, especially when I realized like the quality of where we were going. I was like, okay, this is not going to be something that's, this isn't The Shallows, this isn't Jaws.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
you're getting shortly into the film, so your expectations aren't set too high.
Yeah, exactly.
How's
The sharks roar.
That's a choice.
Yeah. They're roaring sharks, which is great.
Do they have like Black Canary like levels of power with said roar, or is it
they
roar?
just want
to roar like a T-Rex?
Yeah, and they roar underwater and they roar above water. They roar everywhere.
Oh man.
And there's the first moment that you see the shark is really truly awful. It's one of the worst pieces of shark CGI I've ever seen. It looks like they put clip art on the screen.
No. I was gonna just
and it's not even like bit into the right place of the plane. And it's insane. Beyond that though, there's some really good there's some like actual footage of sharks put into this movie along with footage of like CGI sharks, so you can tell the difference. But the stuff that they have real sharks in is really gorgeous, and the first sight of the shark is the most egregious example of the CG. Nothing else is quite that level of bad for the rest of the movie. It's at least passable for the rest of it, but when you're out the gate, like your first look at the shark is as bad as that one was.
I mean, I'm really struggling here. I wanted to let you finish that, but holy cow. No, you can't open up the doors and be like, I mean,
it's not a great
so like
movie.
50s Godzilla looked more realistic is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Ouch. I was going to say that's like the one redeeming quality to me, I guess, to like your CBBC versions of creature features and stuff is like, as long as you spent your whole budget on the actual creature, I'm good. But
like Sweetheart, where they don't use the creature a whole lot, it's super low budget, and then when you see the creature, like you're like, oh, they spent money on that.
Yeah.
Like they made something cool.
Killing.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, that's Great White. It's not fantastic. You can probably wait and stream it whenever it hits, Netflix, Tubi, Shudder. Oh wait, it will be on Shudder because I think it's an RJLE film. So wait a few months, it'll be on Shudder, everybody. And then I followed up Great White with a movie that I enjoyed a lot more.
Okay.
And that is 1978's Piranha.
Oh.
I have never seen that one. I've seen Aja's remake,
Yeah.
which I've been meaning to rewatch and was hoping to before this episode for obvious reasons, but I didn't get to it. But Piranha 78 is maybe Roger Corman's best horror movie, and I don't mean that it's particularly good, but there is a charm in its simplicity that I found really, I don't know, charming, I guess. I found its charming.
Hey, I mean, that's it did its job then.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like workaround for budget where, you see little shots of fish puppets swimming through bubbles. And a lot of the times people just disappear under the water and it turns red and that type of stuff. But there are some genuinely tense sequences in it. There are some genuinely crazy over-the-top performances in it, too, which I always appreciate in my B movies.
Well, I mean, and let's face it. I mean, that's 78 prime 78 year for some A movies.
Yeah, exactly. I had a lot of fun with Piranha 78. Right now, I'm pretty sure it's streaming on Shudder as well, so you can check that out there. But yeah, I kind of had a blast with Piranha. Also directed by Joe Dante. Almost forgot to mention that. Who went on to obviously do Gremlins and all sorts of cool stuff.
Little movies you might have heard of.
Little movies you might have heard of. Small Soldiers.
I love that movie.
I do too.
So is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
All right. So, one of these you've seen, one of these you haven't.
Okay.
So now I want to know which one do you want me to talk about first?
I know the one that you've seen that I haven't, so we can talk about that one a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
We can save the one that I have seen for the end fresh meat with a bang.
Oh, there we go.
Right?
There we go. We'll be on the same level and everything. So, I recently watched Shadow in the Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow in the Cloud. And I thought it was surprisingly really fun. Like, I know you guys talked about it a little bit, I think last episode, maybe, I want to say.
Yeah, it was either last episode or a few episodes. I don't know.
I think it was last episode.
It was very recently.
But I had a lot of fun with this movie. I really did. I thought the score it's like this synthy, like super electronic 80s synth style, but then it's set in, World War II, so like it brings like a weird contrast to it because, you're seeing an old B bomber, that's the whole set, this whole movie. And so when they bring in the score with like the uber 80s synth, it makes it really fun. But yeah, like I said, I had a lot of fun. I thought Chloe Moretz did a great job. She
nice.
I mean, she's got to carry the movie. It's 99.99% her, and then 1% like other voices and faces. It's something. But no, I had a lot of fun. I don't want to give too much away, which is kind of the bummer, but I would say it's kind of a story you'll probably be familiar with a little bit. Like it's got a one in particular very classic trope that it talks about and kind of delves into and it's based around. But I mean, they kind of dive into that in the very first 2 minutes. So I don't know how
much
with
the animated video.
Yeah, with the animated video, they talk about a big part of the whole movie.
I kind of wondered, because I've seen the first couple minutes of this, and I kind of wondered. I need to finish it because
it's a super fun time, and it's short. It's like 83 minutes, and I mean for a nice quick, not even an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and it's a good flick.
I love my movies 85 minutes or less. That's the sweet spot.
My letterbox for it's 3.5. I
nice.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it. But I'm kind of. It's very rare that I don't like a movie. So.
Oh, same, dude. Same.
Which makes tonight so interesting.
It will be.
Anyway.
Not bad, but interesting.
Foreshadowing.
All right. So back to my fresh meat. I saw Shyamalan's newest, Old. I ended up actually seeing that with Casey. And I think Casey liked it more than I did. Like with everybody else, I definitely have.
He didn't talk about it yet, right? You guys just watched it together?
Yeah. They did a Patreon episode of it on Backlot. Yeah. So, shameless self-plug.
Yeah. No, it's not shameless. It's sister company, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Keeping it in the family.
Check out the Backlot Patreon because they've got an episode of Old. I actually just recorded one for Don't Breathe 2 with them. It's been...
And you get to hear more Sam Lenz.
Yeah, you get to hear more me. So... I watched Old. It was very M. Night. Like, very M. Night. There's a lot of on the nose dialogue, a lot of very weird, wooden, stiff performances. M. Night actually gives the best performance in the movie.
Oh wow!
In his cameo role that he always gives himself. I'm not even kidding about that. Like, that genuinely shocked me. But yeah, I mean, if you've seen the trailer, you know, people go to a beach, they get old quick. Yeah, like, and it's very much that premise. It does give you that M. Night explanation at the end.
Yeah, it's called Florida.
Yeah. There you go. It's the UV rays.
I figured it out. Old is just any beach in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. It's not my favorite Shyamalan, but it does have some cool stuff in there.
So I haven't heard all the Shyamalans. Have you divulged what is your favorite Shyamalan?
Yes, The Visit.
Is it The Visit?
Which I am on that episode. I do.
See,
I don't necessarily know if The Visit is the best Shyamalan, but I do think that it's my favorite. Like, it's the one that I go for every time.
Sure.
I really dig The Visit. So obviously, like, that's another recent watch. I didn't put it on here because there's a whole episode of me talking about The Visit. I love it. But yeah. And Old was okay. I gave it 2.5 out of 5. Like,
hey,
there was stuff I liked. There was stuff I didn't, you know? So overall, if you like Shyamalan, you should check out Old. And then my last two, I saw Friday the 13th at the State Theater at the late night, which I'm not a massive Friday the 13th fan. Like, the first movie, it's just, it is what it is, you know? It's
with the twist.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Betsy Palmer stuff. Like, I think she's great in it.
Sure.
I just think the way that the last, like, 20 minutes are edited takes away some of the suspense from it.
Okay.
You know?
Sure.
And I think that's generally, like, my problem with the movie as a whole is, like, there's a lot of, I feel like, editing choices that take me out of the movie. But I gotta tell you, seeing this with a crowded, like, sold-out theater was gangbusters.
I believe that.
There were people that, like, I was sitting very close to some people who had not ever seen it before. And watching their reactions to this stuff, like, they were jumping at all the right points. They were screaming. They were, like, I mean, it was so much fun watching it in that context. And while, like, I don't love Friday the 13th, I do like it quite a bit. And so I really dug seeing this at the State Theater.
So you date Friday the 13th, but you wouldn't marry it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way of putting it. And then the next one I did was I went home, and a couple days later I threw on my Blu-ray of Friday the 13th Part 2 because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this, right? Like, and maybe I'll just keep going through the Fridays this Halloween season. I think that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, one a week or
So,
something.
yeah.
You can balance it out till Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. I've got the cool box set that I spent too much money on.
Are you gonna finish with Jason X?
Yeah, probably,
Or are you
because
gonna finish with Freddy vs. Jason?
I've watched Freddy vs. Jason at least like twice already this year, so probably like just stop with Jason X.
For the record, big fan of
Yeah.
Friday vs. Jason.
Oh yeah.
And I've been yelling at my phone every time you guys talk about it. I'm like, I love that movie so much.
Oh my god, Freddy vs. Jason's incredible.
It's so good.
It's fantastic. I dig Freddy vs. Jason. It might be my favorite Friday the 13th movie. Along with, I love the 2009 remake, actually.
That's all right. I also enjoyed the remake.
Yeah, I think it's the best straight up Friday the 13th movie. But
I think I think people have a lot of hate on it. But
yeah,
I think it's pretty good.
It is. It's pretty good. You can come at us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went home. I watched Friday the 13th Part 2. I think my favorite Jason design, like character design, is the burlap sack Jason. I just love that. I don't know.
Not a big fan of Chrome Face Jason?
I mean, I do love me some Jason X. But if I'm going for like scary Jason, like I think that burlap sack with just like the one hole cut out, I'm like, nope, that terrifies the shit out of me.
Very effective.
Like
yeah.
that scene where he's like hiding in the bed and he sits up makes me shit my pants every time. Like, nope, not gonna happen today.
Who needs X-Lax when you have
You're right.
Friday the 13th?
I just have it pulled up on my phone while I'm sitting
just
on the
that
toilet. Oh, man.
That's great.
And there's your poop joke, all of you listeners.
Nothing wrong with a good poop joke.
So yeah, and that's what I got for fresh meat this month. It was a light month for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say and it's full of some classics though, so you can't really knock it.
Oh, for sure. And I'm sure the next 2 months I'll make up for it. So,
I believe that. I have zero qualms about that.
like the next couple SlashLots might as well just be all fresh meat because that's all we're going to be talking about.
I don't even think you need the other two again. They could just take 2 more months out.
Yeah, it could just be Sam reviews every movie he's seen in the last 2 months.
And it's somehow longer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you let me off my chain without a leash. Like, oh, I'm gonna go for hours.
I can't. I mean, I'm a fan, so I'm not gonna complain. I can deal with that. So my other fresh meat, and I'm pretty hyped to talk about it because you guys single-handedly made me aware of this movie and got my hype up for it so hard, and I got to watch PG Psycho Gorman. I bought it outright. I trusted you guys enough to buy it outright.
Oh God, please tell me that you...
I love it.
Oh, thank God.
I love it. 4.5 stars. I love this movie. It's so much fun. I laugh so hard. I mean,
your 5-year-old could watch this.
I mean, I genuinely considered it. I would be lying if I said it didn't cross my mind to be like, hey, little man, let's watch this cool movie. It kind of, like, it really gave me some like vibes of like Turbo Kid. You ever seen Turbo Kid?
I have seen part of Turbo Kid. I have not watched all of it.
It's got that kind of like 80s synthy kind of... I know this one's set in like, I think modern day, but like I get such an cheesy kind of 80s feel to it.
Oh yeah.
And it puts me right back to it. I love it. And coincidentally, I did my own little research, and apparently Psycho Gorman and Turbo Kid have the exact same Rotten Tomatoes score.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
that's insane.
And since I'm a big fan of both, I just was cheesing out over that.
I love that. I'll have to put Turbo Kid on my watch list because I've seen. I feel like I started it. Maybe it was on Shudder for a while, and I started it.
I know it was on Netflix. I want to say years ago. That's where I first saw it. But it is. I mean, even the horror fan in you will love it, or maybe not you. The other guys would love it for the horror. It's a very gory movie.
Oh, I don't mind gore.
Right.
I don't mind gore.
I mean, that's not what I've heard. But I mean, word on the street. But...
I like gore. I like gore when we'll get into it more, but I like my gore with a good helping of humor and fun. Yeah,
I
guess
you'll love,
you know what I mean.
Turbo Kid, then it is. It's kind of almost like a Tucker and Dale sort of like level of gore with the comedy.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
Like, I really dig it. But I'm not here to talk about Turbo Kid. I'm here to talk about Psycho Gorman, and it's great. I mean, the soundtrack was awesome in Psycho Gorman 2. It was just such a really, really good movie. You guys set my expectations super high, and I mean, I kind of got that same vibe with one of the other movies we're going to talk about tonight, and it wasn't the same result. And so it just, I was very happy. I bought it outright. I bought the other movie outright. Not thrilled about that. But then I also bought Turbo Kid outright, so that made it better. So
there you go.
This movie made me spend more money. So take that as you will.
Yeah. I mean, I think when SlashLot does our best of the year episode, like Psycho Gorman is going to make an appearance on all 3 lists. I mean, probably pretty close to the top. Yeah.
I guess I haven't watched a lot of horror movies from this year, so I mean,
it's crowded for me, but like my top 3, I don't want to give them away yet, but my top 3 so far are pretty set in stone, but it's everything after that. There's so much good stuff that I'm like, oh God, like how am I...
Wait,
like,
are you saying we've had a good year for horror?
We have.
Holy cow.
And my honorable mentions list on our best of the year is going to be about 20 movies long. So, because I have a problem where I just like everything.
I feel that. I feel that in my bones.
Except for some of what we're going to be talking about today
Oh no.
for our main course.
Oh no.
For our main course.
Oh no.
Because we're talking about the new French extreme movement.
We are.
And like I said, we're talking about, should we go like chronological? Should we go?
I'm down for that, depending on the chronologicality, since we have two different timelines.
Well, here's what I think. I think we start with high tension.
I'm okay with that.
I think we move into inside.
All right.
And then we close out with your favorite movie,
I'm
right?
so on board.
Okay.
So on board.
Okay. So let's start with high tension. Alex Aja's, I'm not sure, is this his first?
Oh no.
No, not his first, right?
Research.
He did Furia and a movie called Furia in 1999 first.
I love how, like, when you do a quick Google, they throw you the weirdest. The weirdest. Because the first one's High Tension, then I have Oxygen from 2021,
Yeah.
and then I have the '06 version of The Hills Have Eyes, and
Yeah.
it's not chronological, it's not
No.
alphabetical, there's no rhyme or reason to this.
No. It looks like on IMDb, the only feature that he has before High Tension was Furia from 99.
I have not seen it.
I have not seen that one either. It looks like I've seen...
A lot.
I think I've seen everything else now except for Oxygen.
I've seen a majority of these movies, and I am a fan of the majority of them.
Yeah, I like a lot of these.
Yeah.
I like almost all of these more than I liked High Tension.
The betrayal.
But John, do you want to talk a little bit about High Tension, or do you want me to?
I think I want you to poop all over, and then I can bring them back.
Okay,
'cause
that sounds good. Yeah, we'll end with a positive. And I'm not gonna completely shit all over this.
You already did. You shit all over my heart with that one sentence.
So I like parts of High Tension.
Okay.
I mean, we're gonna spoil all of these movies.
All right, I'm down. I didn't
Yeah.
know how we were gonna play this. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're all well over a decade old.
that's true.
Go watch them if you don't want them spoiled.
One of them can, used to be able to buy cigarettes. Can still buy pornography though.
Really?
The '03 High Tension.
Oh,
could
yeah.
Technically, probably buy porn right now, but it can't buy cigarettes or alcohol
Oh yeah.
because now it's 21.
Oh
You
my
can
God.
sign up for the military. You can buy pornography. But god damn it if you smoke or drink.
So yeah, we've got 18-year-old High Tension.
Yep.
And it follows two friends who are college aged, and they're going to one of their parents' houses in the middle of the countryside
Yep.
for a weekend of studying. It's going to be nice, quiet, idyllic, and of course it's not, because this is a horror movie. And there's a knock at the door their first night, and then Dad gets his head lopped off with a bookcase.
It's amazing.
And it just goes from there.
Yeah. I mean, super chill, super slow intro, and then
Yep.
then it's game on. It's on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and there is some very good gore in this.
I think that first kill with the dad's my favorite.
Yeah.
I think legitimately it's
It is. It's
my favorite death in the movie. Probably followed by the last death, I would say.
yeah.
I think those two are my top two. Like, even in my kind of notes, and I love this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to sidetrack from Sam's doo-doo party over
No,
here.
no.
But there are some very, very cool deaths in this movie, and then there are some very boring run-of-the-mill deaths. So like, I get where you're coming from there, I guess. But no, that first one where Dad very MacGyverly gets
Yeah.
his head just destroyed was to me a great start to the tempo of the movie.
Yeah. And I dig that kill. I think it's my favorite part of the movie.
Oh, okay.
I really do like the two actresses in the leads as well. I think both of them play their parts well, particularly Marie, who
is the villain.
Yes, the villain of the movie.
Spoiler alert, is
so,
the villain.
And that really, that's why,
Wait,
we have to talk about spoilers, because that's what...
So, did you not enjoy the twist?
I saw the twist coming.
Did you? All right.
The way it was filmed, when the first knock happens and it like zooms in on her, and then the way everything else was framed from that point on, I'm like, she's the only one actually witnessing these killings. No one else seems to be actually witnessing this trucker doing it except for her. And I was like, it's a manifestation. But then I was also thinking, if it's a manifestation, why did we have the super gross I'm with a severed head scene?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and maybe if I could have gotten that out of my head, I would, because the whole time it was like this push and pull in my mind of like, no, there's no way that they're going to actually try and make her the killer, because this wouldn't make sense. That, you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
And I like, that said, I think both, like I said, both of the actresses do some incredible work in this movie. Especially Marie. Like, I would watch a sequel to this centered on her character. Like, almost a Psycho 2 like thing where she's kind of the protagonist you're rooting for, you know, she's rehabilitated, she, you know, something like that, because I just think she does some incredible work in that.
They technically leave it open.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't close the door on a potential sequel, but since it's 18 years old, I mean, we now are in the age of revamps and reboots.
I was about to say, I don't think Psycho 2 came out until 83. And that would have been 23 years after the original Psycho.
Maybe that's what Aja's looking for. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, the twist, I guess for me, the sum of my review of the movie, I guess, is the first time I love this movie. The second time, it's still a fun movie.
Yeah.
Like, because I really loved this movie the first time I saw it. I was enthralled. I was into this film. I was so into it. I thought it was great. The twist caught me completely off guard. I mean, I am not a detective apparently like Sam is, because I literally, this time going through, I'm like, I'm going to watch it and like look for the secrets. I'm going to look for the little sneak peeks, because you know they're going to leave breadcrumbs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was oblivious. I was completely oblivious, and you watched it one time and completely picked up all the breadcrumbs. And so you were like, no, meow. But like I said, the first time I watched it, I loved it. I told everybody it was in my top 5 of horror movies. And after the rewatch, it's probably got to get moved. You know, maybe Psycho Gorman can just take its spot or something.
Yeah, there you go.
It's still, I really enjoyed it. I still, after the second viewing, I re-rated it at 3.5 stars. Because I think there are some like you said, there are some really good moments. And because I guess there's that nostalgia for me of like, I love this movie for so long, and then rewatched it and then was like, oh no, what did I do? But the one thing that I really wanted to talk about with this movie is there are two very particular like little scenes, I guess, that to me were just so visually amazing in this movie. And the one is when Marie is rolling up the 2x4 with the barbed wire at the very end. She's rolling it up, and she's rolling it up like slowly and meticulously, and like she is turning a piece of wood and a piece of metal into a weapon. And the intent is there. It's beautifully, to me, it's a beautiful scene. And then shortly after that, where she is pulling her Leatherface moment with a K-12 saw and just going ham with it, and, you know, swinging it around, like I said, doing Leatherface proud. And I think that especially because where you're at in the story at that time, you just got the spoiler, you just got the twist, you're now finding out she's the villain. This whole time it was her, blah blah blah. And to see her just be able to flip that switch, you know, and just go full bore into Leatherface mode was, to me, just, I don't know, it was a really cool scene. But to be fair, if somebody just sliced my face and stabbed me like she had happened to her, I might be a little mad too.
Yeah.
To be fair, she did just technically, me in this story just killed her whole family and other people, but we're not going to talk about that part.
Yeah, I do, like, and that's the thing. I think, you know, it starts off as a pretty routine, like, slasher of the era.
Yeah.
You know, high on gore. It's got kind of that color palette that a lot of them have around
Yeah,
this.
that kind of dingy, yellowy, green.
Like very, very grimy and grindhouse type of...
Absolutely.
Yeah. And in that aspect, like, this movie is really stylish, really well made. And yeah, I think the sequence with Marie wielding the buzzsaw.
The K-12 saw, yeah.
Yeah.
We use those in firefighting, so I know what to do.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
Nice. No, you're good.
Geeking out.
That's awesome. Yeah. I do dig that. The one thing that I did have an issue with in that scene, though, we already figured out that she was the trucker.
Yeah.
I think it would have been more effective to just have Marie.
Oh,
instead of interspersing, because
Yeah.
she just nailed the physicality of that.
I agree 100%.
And I was like, you know, I feel like if you just, at that point, it's just her.
And there's something terrifying about a smaller physique, like petite woman wielding. I mean, those saws are heavy. I promise you. I've
sure.
I've held them once or
like
twice.
the cover art is her, like,
yeah.
and I mean, her
forearms are ripped.
Yeah.
She's looking like the Rock. Yeah. And I mean, that's what you need to wield those. And so, to me, yeah, the duality or whatever of this tiny framed woman just whipping this thing around, you know, like she just don't care. It is super cool. The other issue I guess I had this time watching this movie is, so my horror goes past movies is I like, you know, your cliche horror authors, Kuntz, King, those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And Kuntz did a book called Intensity. And I read it right around the same time as this movie was released. I don't know which one came first, chicken or the egg. But there is a very similar correlation, at least in the beginning, just with like the kills and like not an abandoned, but a beautiful house in the middle of the woods, the field, whatever.
right.
And an intruder coming in and just wrecking the life of two girls. And so there's a lot of similarities kind of with that part of the story. And no offense to Alex, but I think Kuntz did it better in the book. And again, I don't know which came first. I don't know if anybody had inspiration off the other or what have you, but Kuntz did a great job in the book, and they actually made like a Lifetime kind of budget version of the movie or of the book. Mm-hmm. And it's got Dr. Cox from Scrubs as the villain.
What?
And it's actually still pretty good, and it holds up against the book, surprisingly. And so
that sounds awesome.
between reading the book, watching the other movie, and then watching this movie, it was like, I've kind of been here before. The major difference is the twist of this movie is, you know, what it is. But other than that, you know, I guess weird plug for another thing.
No, it's all good,
But
man.
Intensity by Dean Koontz.
Intensity. I'll have to remember that because I do love Koontz's Odd Thomas series.
Oh,
like,
it's great.
Yeah.
No.
I haven't even finished it yet, but I'm like, I have all the books. I just haven't gotten through them yet.
R.I.P. to Yelchin, man. He did a good job of Odd Thomas too. I don't know if
He
you
did.
watched the movie. But
Oh, yeah.
He did such a good version of it.
I actually saw the movie before I read the books.
Oh, no,
I read
yeah.
the books because of the movie. And
Sure.
I love the movie dearly, but the books are so much better even, you know?
Yeah, and then Anton.
Yeah.
He did so good. I was such a fan of his. R.I.P. to Anton Yelchin.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, I guess that's kind of all I have to say about High Tension. Is the first time I watched it was a 4.5-star movie, and the second time 3.5, 3 in there.
I get that. Like I said, I liked a lot of High Tension. I just feel like narratively with I don't know.
It was too obvious for you. You picked it right up.
Yeah, it just seemed weird. Like some of the shots, I was like, wait, why are they framing it like this? And it's probably partially because like I watched Fight Club so many times in high school.
Sure.
That like I'm privy to that type
Yeah.
of like film. You know what I mean?
That movie trick. Yeah.
And it just like when movies try and do that now, I kind of pick up on visual cue. Like I don't know.
I've done this before.
Yeah.
I've been to this parade.
Yeah, and it did. It felt very like certain elements of the editing felt very Fight Club to me, and I was like, are they doing a Fight Club ending? Because I think they're doing a Fight Club ending.
And they did a
Fight Club ending. And it was fine. I just found that like some of the choices they made before the Fight Club ending don't really work in tandem with it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I guess I could like overanalyze and like try to go to bat for that one scene in the very beginning that you referred to and just be like, well, maybe while they were riding out there, those were like her tendencies like kicking in and like that was was like the sign, but I don't even know if I buy that saying the words out loud. So
well, hey, maybe that is. Who are we to say?
yeah, I am not Alex Ajay.
Yeah, Alex, if you want to come on the podcast and clear this up for us, that would be awesome.
Do it.
So, I mean, that's pretty much it for High Tension, right?
I think
right?
we covered all the bases, spoiled all the spoils.
So now we'll go to the movie that has no one here to defend it.
Oh no! Oh no! I didn't know you were in this camp. This is so great. At least we can shit on it together.
Yeah.
Let's hold hands and shit on this terrible movie.
Like, I did not like Inside.
They're gonna be so mad when they hear this.
I know. I
also really did not like Inside.
And I think you and I might have two very different reasons for... Well, maybe not.
It's possible. I don't know.
Why
didn't you like Inside?
Well, I guess, no. If I didn't like it for these reasons, I guarantee you... One, the CGI baby. Hated every time that thing came up on screen. Let's talk about... I always do this. I talk about the movie before talking about the plot. If you don't know, Inside follows a pregnant woman on Christmas Eve for reasons.
Yeah.
Like
reasons.
it's mentioned that it's Christmas like
5 times.
Yeah,
throughout the movie?
4 times, but there's no Christmas decorations ever, even on other houses, to my knowledge, if I remember.
Thought there was like a red and green hue to like one of the windows.
Maybe. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean it's not there's no Santas anywhere.
Yeah, like there's no
they don't
Santas.
believe in Santa in France.
So yeah, she's pregnant. She's getting ready to have her baby, like literally on Christmas or whatever, and a woman intrudes. It comes into her house, and
I think it opens at the hospital.
Yeah.
And so it opens at the hospital or whatever, and they say like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna induce you," and I think they were like, "But go home for a little bit and come back." I think that was the vibe I got, and I think she runs into the gal at the hospital. Isn't she the nurse?
Yep. She's the nurse.
That's smoking.
And it it ends up this, the main girl is widowed. Yeah. Because she lost her husband in a car accident.
Yep.
And
that was kind of a sad moment.
Yeah.
I guess that was the only time I felt anything during this whole movie was that scene.
Dang, you might have actually liked this one less than me. I enjoyed the first half hour of this.
Who are you trying to convince, Sam? Me or you?
More than I liked everything else. I was pretty on board with it until it went full-fledged Looney Tunes.
I mean, I was on board for a second during the auto accident scene. I was on board for like a second. I didn't care about the girl. I didn't care about the baby. I didn't care about really anybody in this whole movie besides like there was like a 5-second window during the car crash where I was like, huh.
Sad.
But then they sad, and then they took me right out of it, and
what took you out of it?
Just I just didn't care. This whole movie was like I just don't care. Like I don't care about the baby. I know that sounds terrible considering I'm a dad, but like they didn't make me care about the baby. They didn't make me care about this lady. They gave me a 5-second scene with her and her husband dying, and that was it. And then they're like, "All right, now here's the movie." And so like they didn't grow any connection with me or any of the characters. And I don't know. I the best part of this movie to me is the villain. I think. Yeah. I think the actress plays it very well. I don't think she says a thing during the house, like in the house, or does she? I don't think she talks a lot in the house. Yeah.
Yeah, not until almost the very end.
Yeah, she doesn't talk. I mean, she talks in the first scene at the hospital, but then she doesn't talk like the entire time she's hunting for an hour and a half this tiny little townhouse. One person. She's there for one person in a tiny little townhouse for an hour and a half.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Do you like Mike Flanagan's Hush?
I did love Hush. I loved Hush. I thought Hush was great.
See, the first half hour of this gave me kind of Hush vibes.
Okay.
You know, and so I really liked where it was going, and then it turned into blood and guts with really nothing more to add.
The amount of people that are able to die in this tiny house on Christmas Eve is astounding.
Yeah. Like,
I've seen tiny houses on that show that were bigger than this townhouse, and it took an hour and a half for her to find her. It just, I don't know, man. Like I said, to me, I didn't care about anybody. The lack of caring made me just completely took me out of the movie. Mm-hmm. And then like when the killer was actually on screen, I was like, I'm all right with this. But yeah, like I said, man, just from the jump, they just didn't do anything to make me care about this lady. I guess intrinsically we're just supposed to care because it's a pregnant lady who's a widow.
Yeah.
But she's kind of bitchy, I guess. I mean, she's pregnant, so there's hormones, blah blah blah. But like, she's kind of bitchy in the first like 5 minutes, and then you're supposed to care about her. And I don't know. I didn't. I know I was supposed to, but I didn't.
Yeah, I think I have that problem too. But like my bigger issues with this is just the like, it seems hellbent on being a serious dramatic movie, but it's so over the top loony in certain areas where it's like I'm not taking it seriously either.
I'm quoting myself. I've only seen more bumbling police in spoof films.
Yeah. And that's the other thing.
Like this is literally from my reviews. I had to quote my own review because I hit the nail on the head with that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The only time I've seen a more bumbling police force is during like a scary movie.
Yeah. Well, it's literally like is it Halloween 4 where all the cops like get in and start like driving out, or no, maybe it's like a Wes Craven movie or something. Sure. And it starts playing like honky tonk, like boom, 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 you know, as like all these cops are piling in, and it's meant to be like, hey, these cops are dumb. This one, I felt like Inside was very much not. It never committed to its serious dramatic heft, and it never committed to just outright looniness either.
Yeah, it could have been a good movie if it would have went either way more. But yeah,
I mean the flamethrower to the face, like the homemade flamethrower, like. It didn't gross me out. It made me laugh.
Yeah.
You know, like it was, and I shouldn't have that reaction in a movie that's trying to be this serious.
About a widowed pregnant woman. And this lady's coming after her with scissors.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, we should care more.
Yeah.
And we just don't.
Yeah.
Or I didn't. I guess Casey might have.
And Blake loves
Blake
this movie.
Too, yeah.
You guys are gonna have to like defend this on the next episode or something, I guess.
Do
because
like a sublot.
Yeah, sublot.
Sublot.
Yeah, and I felt a lot of tension in the first half hour, and then the Looney Tunes style violence started happening.
I think once the cops got there, for sure, everything kind of went out the door for. I mean, I can see where you're coming from. Where the first 30 minutes are definitely better than the other 55 minutes or whatever, because this is also a nice short runtime.
Yeah, and I honestly appreciate that about all of these movies. Is they're pretty. I mean, I
think Martyrs is longer.
Martyrs is a little bit longer, but it's still under 2 hours. It's like what is it? Hour 38?
Yeah, you're right. I thought it was longer. That's my bad. I thought it was like 2 and 2.
The second half feels longer. We'll get to that.
We'll get there.
So yeah, and then the other thing that really bothered me with Inside was the score. It was just it felt like, I'll put it this way. When the shrill score kicks in when you're supposed to be feeling tension, the first time it happened, I was looking around like, oh my God, are one of my smoke detectors going off? Like, and I kept doing that. Like, I kept hearing it, and I'm like, what is that sound? Because I didn't think it could possibly be part of the sound design to this movie.
From this movie.
And when I found out, I was like, oh, no, the score sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I just did not, I mean, and to me, one of the things that I noticed, the first thing I notice about horror movies is typically the score. I love the music in horror movies. Like, my vinyl collection is
mostly
like
horror soundtracks.
It's literally like, weirdly enough, like acoustic folk stuff, and then like horror scores. And so like,
that's very on brand for you, Sam.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
I know you a little bit, and that's very on brand.
Yeah. It sounds about right?
Yeah. No, it's about dead nuts. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I just,
sorry,
man.
Casey, sorry, Blake.
The score to this just killed what little tension there was for me, and I wanted to like this movie more because this was the last one that I watched in prep for this.
Oh no.
And
that makes me really nervous about our next movie.
And here's the thing. This is what I will say. I like Martyrs more than I like these other two.
That hurts so bad.
I don't love it as much as you do, but
we can just use that as our segue, because I don't have too much else to say about Inside besides I wanted to stab myself with crafting supplies because that apparently is the only thing that causes death in a house.
Yeah, and okay, I just want to say too, before we move on from Inside, real quick, I will 100% admit that the last 3 minutes are stomach turning. I found them very gross. I found them very disturbing. But once again, I found it very over the top, and I was like, well, the issue is you go from blind cop viciously beating this one for no reason. There's no logical reason for this cop to actually act like this, blind or not. And then you go from something that, once again, made me laugh to something as morbid and grotesque, and this is a serious moment, as literally someone cutting a baby out of a dying woman with scissors.
Yeah. Snip too. Not even a slash.
No.
Straight up, she uses them like crafting scissors on this thing.
Yeah, and it's disgusting. I'm kind of gagging a little in my throat, thinking about it, even talking about it. Because it shows everything in very gruesome detail too. And I'm like, I know the whole point of these is that they're extreme, but I'm like, good God, you don't need to show this. You just don't.
I get it. I get where you're coming from is what I'm saying. Because to me, I guess that was the best part of the whole movie is because that's the only time I felt anything.
Yeah.
Whether it be you with actual gross, whatever, or vile.
My gag reflex felt it.
Yeah. but you felt something.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where I got to give the movie some props, I guess, is I definitely, I was more on board with it than you were, but I fucks with gore a little bit more, I guess. But
yeah, and I don't, like I said, I don't mind gore. I just,
there's levels.
yeah,
There's
I need my gore to, I don't know. I can't even say I need my gore to not be like so dark and disturbing, because then I'll watch something like, you know, Midsommar, or like, you know, like shit like that, and I love that. You know, The Mist. You know, I mean, that stuff. Like, I don't mind dark and dour and awful endings, but they have to be earned.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I just didn't feel like this movie earned it.
Yeah. No,
you know,
I could see that. I mean, yeah, I would much rather watch The Mist than this movie again.
I love The Mist.
I love The Mist too. It's such a good movie.
I'm so glad. Like, I knew you were a man of taste.
You know, apparently not to you, because you're shitting on.
You have taste. I just don't share the same one sometimes.
There you go. All right. Hey, I can roll with that. I might even steal that. It's like what I always tell people: whatever floats your boat, just don't let it sink your ship.
Right. Well, we passed over the excellent segue that I said.
It's all right.
So we're just going to go for an awkward one now.
Perfect.
Hey, John, let's talk about your favorite movie, Martyrs.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So Martyrs is also the story of two young women.
Very true.
Which you could say that about all three of these movies.
I mean, technically, yes.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
and in two of the three,
a woman is...
one of the women is the villain.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
There's even a woman villain in this one.
I mean, there is a woman villain. There's a couple women villain in this one.
Yeah. So yeah, Martyr starts off with two girls who have been abused and both psychologically and physically, we're led to believe, right?
I got it very much as one versus the other. I had this very much as a duality, light and dark thing, that the main girl,
the one that makes it past the first half. Yeah. Yes.
Lucy. No, Lucy is the main girl. Lucy's in the beginning. Lucy's the main girl. Lucy's the girl that escapes torture,
right,
and everything else, and she gets put into like a kids group home or orphanage or whatever, and then they like prompt this other girl, Anna, to like befriend her, and it worked. You know, it seemed like it worked at least. I mean, there's a whole like 20 or 10 minute like montage of them growing up together and staying friends and everything else. And then it just...
Aren't you kind of led to believe that the other one has suffered some form of abuse as well?
I guess I didn't get that vibe. I mean, they were in an orphanage, so like, I mean, I guess with that...
I thought the conversation with her mom maybe like subtly...
Okay. I mean, I guess I might have missed that. I mean,
maybe
you could
not.
be very right. I mean, they're both in an orphanage. It does look like there are a bunch of kids with issues. So, I mean, it's not unreasonable to think like, yeah, Anna's also got some sort of issues. But it just seems like...
She's more well-adjusted than...
I mean, yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
And then it just fast forwards to a nice family breakfast. Like, it starts out with, like, this little girl escaping. Then you go into, like, a mental ward of a kid's institution. And it's a beautiful family breakfast.
Yeah.
There's toast and eggs.
And you know what? Like, that genuinely threw me.
Yeah.
I was very much like, wait, what the fuck are they doing? Like, who are these people? Why do I care? Like, what?
And then what happens, Sam?
And then Lucy comes in with a shotgun, and she blows them all away. Very brutally.
Double barrels to everybody. Everybody caught she had two guns, one for each of them, and they were both in those barrels.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And that scene is shocking. It's violent. It's brutal. You kind of don't know why she's... I mean, you don't know why she's doing it at first. And it's very like... Oh my God. What are we... Like, what happened between then and now? You know?
Come to find out that this family were the people who were abusing her in the first part of the movie.
At least allegedly, right? at first.
Oh yeah. At
Yeah.
first, it's not confirmed, nor there's no confirmation for sure.
There's some doubt shed on the fact that they were
You could go that far even as well. That they Anna doesn't believe Lucy.
Yeah.
And apparently Lucy was just supposed to go there to kind of scope out the place and see if these were the people, and she just turned it up to 11 right out the gate
and murdered them all.
and
Yes.
murdered them all.
With very young children. I mean, this movie goes for it right away.
I mean, yeah.
It's-
I mean, even in the very beginning when she's escaping, you're definitely getting the vibes like this is super fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
She's not walking out of Disneyland right now.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, yeah, there's like, she's got bloody, dirty clothes. I mean, like, she looks
She's
like she hasn't
limping.
showered
Yeah.
in months.
Yeah.
And we find out later, probably years, actually.
I mean, I guess she got a couple sponge baths in between.
Yeah.
We're led to believe at least, but yeah.
Right.
But yeah, and so yeah, she blows this family away. She calls Anna and goes, "So time to clean up." Mm-hmm. And Anna's obviously caught off guard, and then we meet one of this is why I
scarred
love
woman.
this movie. It is like 3 movies in one. You are getting so much bang for your buck with this movie. It's like a monster movie
With the scarred lady.
yeah. A psychological thriller, a revenge film. It's even got, and at the very, just chef's kiss, just a garnish of science fiction. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's just such a great amalgamation of all these things. But yeah, so in the next part, that's when you meet the monster of, or what we think is a monster in this movie. And it's Lucy's demons, or in particular one, Yeah. And you're led to believe like this is why she does it. She's doing it because this creature is following her and chasing her and won't stop hurting her until she gets revenge on this family. And
Then you find out that it's literally just a manifestation of her own guilt.
Yeah.
Essentially.
it's exactly what
it's
it is.
literally her own. It's a physical form. It's like her guilt is taking at least like
A quasi-physical
yeah,
form.
a quasi-physical form to, I mean, like physically torture her. Not that it doesn't settle on psychologically. It physically tortures her,
Yeah.
and
And it
in
makes
the end
her
you
torture her. And
Yeah.
that's
in
what
the
I
end
thought.
you realize like she's actually doing this to herself.
Well, and that's what I thought was great is like you said that I completely missed in High Tension. I saw this the first time through and the second time and all the preceding times that every time that she's being attacked, she has a weapon in her hand. Mm-hmm. Every time. And so
See, and I didn't notice that the first time. I did feel like something was up, but I wasn't quite sure.
yeah, she always has a knife or a razor or something in her hand when she gets attacked. And
Yeah.
so but yeah, shortly after it's revealed that it is all in Lucy's head. At least the monster or whatever is all in her head, and when the monster is attacking her, she's actually self-harming. And to me, I mean, like I said, I love this movie, and so like I think deeper on this movie. Like that's definitely self-harm and abuse and what your brain can do to you. And like yeah, we might not all see a scarred woman or whatever chasing us around telling us to murder people, but there are people who have similar issues and stuff. And so to me, it brought some, I guess, a weird light to it, but a light to it.
Yep.
And so like at that point, we're only like 45 minutes in, and it kind of seems like it's almost wrapping up. And then Anna finds out that Lucy wasn't as successful as she thought she was.
Yep.
And one of the victims from the family massacre is still alive. And this is where the doubt really comes into play. This is where she calls her mom and goes, and her mom's abusive, and you get that out of the vibe, like you said, and so she goes to try to help this lady. Lucy finds her. It's the ultimate betrayal, and I don't know how you want to put it because Lucy finishes the job.
Yep. Lucy, I mean, yeah, she bludgeons her friend over the head and then literally Or no, she doesn't.
She never hurts Anna.
No, she never hurts Anna.
She bludgeons the mom.
Yeah.
Until there's probably nothing left.
Yeah,
you're left to believe. I mean, there was a good 30 whacks with a very heavy object.
And the thing is like for as gory as this movie is, and obviously it gets even more gory as it continues into the second half.
At least more extreme for sure.
Yeah, more extreme. Yeah. I thought that, I mean, shotgun spaghetti western splatters aside, the first 45 minutes were very restrained for what I was expecting.
Okay. For what you were expecting.
Yeah, for what I was expecting.
I was gonna say, because I mean, there's a few scenes where, like, especially when the creature's attacking her, and, like, slicing up her back or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
for
to me,
sure.
that was on the gorier side. So
yeah. Oh, there are
proof,
definitely
y'all.
Some like
Sam doesn't mind gore. That's proof. Because that one to me was gory, and Sam's over here like, man, the first 45 minutes were Disneyland.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I guess the gore in the first half didn't bother me as much as some of the stuff in the second half, and I think maybe part of that is like narratively I was more on this movie's wavelength in the first 45-50 minutes. Okay. And it kind of lost me. Okay. In that,
there's a big flip in that 45-minute range.
Yeah.
There's this, that's the main complaint, because I've read the reviews about this movie. I was trying to brace myself for tonight. I figured that I might be a lone wolf on Martyrs. I didn't know. And now we have two others who can't speak.
Blake actually does like this movie. He does say the second half is punishing, but he's like, but that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
I know that's...
And I think
because I was texting him while I was watching some of these being like, oh, dude, like what... Yeah. Man,
And the second half is punishing, and it is the point. I mean, and it's probably not for the weak of heart. It's not for the weak of stomach. I guess for me, this just goes to show like where my baseline is. I didn't think it was that bad, but every review, everything that I've ever said was, that second half is torture, and it literally is torture, and metaphorically or whatever to the viewer is also torturous. And I mean, I think that's the point they were going for, though. They want you to endure with her, with Anna, this whole...
Well, because you find out that Lucy was right.
Yeah.
After Lucy kills herself.
She does.
Because she can't deal with the guilt anymore. And to me, like, Anna holding Lucy as she, like, bleeds out is one of the, like, to me, that's the emotional, like, not high point, but you know what I mean? Like, that was the moment where I was the most like, oh my God, like I was really into this movie.
And see, I think that was the point, though. I truly do, because now you love Anna more than you have. You were with her a little bit when she doubted, and then and so you feel with her, and her doubt to me led, it's not her fault, not Anna's fault, but Lucy, the betrayal from Anna pushes Lucy over the edge in Lucy's mind, I guess is how I would word that, trying to word it carefully. But yeah, so I mean, I think that's the director doing exactly what he wants. You now care for Anna because her friend died over this betrayal. So, her friend believed, because at this moment she doesn't know Lucy's right. When Lucy dies, she doesn't know Lucy's right.
Yeah.
So she's also dealing with this guilt of, my friend just killed herself. I'm partial. I feel you're led to believe that she's somewhat responsible inadvertently or whatever. And then you find out that Lucy was right.
Yeah. That there's literally a torture chamber under this house.
Dungeon under this mansion, yeah.
And they literally have a woman chained up. Now, here's what I wasn't sure of. Is that woman down in the basement the same one that Lucy ran out on?
No.
Do you think so?
No, because you get a very clear picture in the flashback of Lucy leaving her.
Yeah.
And it's very much the scarred woman.
Yeah.
It's very much that scarred woman. It's her face. And so when Lucy dies, the scarred woman manifestation dies. And this is a different victim.
Yeah.
This is...
And see, that's what I gathered from it, too. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything.
No, yeah, definitely. Okay. This is definitely... And to me, the more memorable. Between this one and the scarred woman, that plate over her face and head.
Oh, it's gross.
I mean, it is gross, but
Yeah.
that's the image in my head. Like, no bullshit. I forgot that the scarred woman was a different entity, because in my head, I only saw the second woman with the metal face and the guard and the chastity belt and all of it. That is to me probably the roughest part, is Anna taking care of her. Well, Anna takes care of her, tries to take the plate off, tries to help her, or what she thinks is helping her.
Yeah.
And, that to me was the craziest part. Pulling those staples out, the way the effects were. Visually, the effects in this movie are so good. I think everything was portrayed really well. I thought the gore was well done, whether you liked it or not. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I think the gore is, all the effects are really well done in this movie.
That's the thing. Even if I didn't particularly like the way the gore... I don't know. It's hard to explain what my big issue is with it, but I don't know. It's not so much the gore itself that bothers me. It's just the relentless, constant one-upping that
That's
every
going
scene
on
does.
in Hollywood or in horror in general? Or
in this movie. In this particular movie,
All
right? It just... And I know it's meant to be a punishment, but... Man, I don't know. I watch movies for enjoyment,
Sure.
And
this is not that movie.
No.
I will say that right out the gate. You do not watch this movie for enjoyment. You watch this movie for an experience.
Yeah, and it delivers on that experience. Totally gonna, whether or not the experience was one that,
you want to
I want
do
to
again?
revisit? That's another question. I love the first 45 minutes of this. My note for this on my French Extreme notes, I literally wrote Martyrs. First 40 minutes, fuck. Goes off a cliff. And I don't... It does for me, in that 20-minute segment where it's just nothing but, torture scenes.
Because that's what happens next.
Yeah.
Anna finds the dungeon.
Yeah.
And SEAL Team 6 of these fucked up people come in, mop the place up better than Mr. Wolf and Reservoir or Pulp Fiction?
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp
Yep.
Fiction.
Yep.
Mop it up better than Mr. Wolf and Pulp Fiction, and then they decide that Anna is going to be the new martyr, for lack of a better word, the new martyr. And they start by just dragging her downstairs into the dungeon, strapping her in. I think she gets a couple of smacks right out the gate for here's to your mother, and then she's kind of put in the darkness, and all she has is a mattress on the floor, a chair with a hole in it, and a bucket under said chair.
Yeah. And I mean, it just, God.
And then, yes, the next 30-ish minutes are rough because it's a sequence of events that is...
I mean, it's literally a montage of torture for almost the entire third act.
See, to me, I guess I consider that the second act.
Well, yeah, the second act, yeah, because the third act is more...
That's where
it gets into
the science fiction, and that's where this movie shines. But in that second act, in the torture scenes, whatever, I get what you're saying, because it's punishing, and it's torturous to the viewer, because you're watching this young girl who, again, just... talk about an emotional roller coaster. Her friend just killed a bunch of people. She didn't believe her, and then she found out she was right. So she's already a wreck before she even sets foot in this dungeon.
Yeah. And
there's pictures in this dungeon of people throughout history with a look. And this whole torture scene for the next 30 minutes, because like you said, it's an hour and a half movie, and for an hour and 15 minutes of it, it's that first act, and then it's torture. And it is. And I think it's shot the way it is, and it's montaged the way it is, because by the end of that 30 minutes, you're also ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so to me, that's why I love this movie. Is to me, it's so effective with that, with making you feel the torture that, not that she's feeling, but you're empathetic to the torture that she's going through. And you come to find out that all this torture and everything is to just capture that look that she saw in those paintings, because we're led to believe that that look is somebody in our physical world seeing the other side, what's after, whether that be religious or space or anything but whatever is after death without dying. And that's the whole point of the movie. And to me, it's a beautiful ending to a fucked up movie. And I'm not gonna sit here and be like, this is a movie I watch every week, because that's not the case. I literally have it written down that what you want to do with this movie, it is as soon as you've kind of forgotten how much of an impact it had, it's a good for a rewatch.
Yeah.
But I mean, that could be years.
I know, because I mean, this movie is, I think this is the most well done of all three of these movies.
Absolutely.
And I actually think my star rating is going to bump up, just because the more I think about it, the more I like a lot of it. You know, particularly.
You?
Huh?
Am I convincing you? Is not
some
as bad?
Some of your arguments are compelling, yes.
Yes!
That said, like, this is still just like one of those things where it's like, maybe not for me. You know what I mean?
It can
like,
be it's too much for a lot of people from a lot of the reviews.
And I just, but what it does well. And like I said, those first 45 minutes, I was riveted, man. Like, these two characters were very well written, excellently performed. I mean,
and you care.
Yeah. The girl who plays Lucy is just,
she's great.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, and this is something like a Parasite, Bong Joon-ho's Parasite.
Yeah.
I have to rewatch that, because I didn't have the same experience that everybody else did with that movie.
You didn't love it?
I didn't love it.
I didn't love it. I liked it enough, but I didn't love it either. So I'm probably going to be in that same boat with you.
It was one of those things kind of like this, where it takes a left turn about an hour in, and it's not that what came after it was bad. It was well done for what it was. It threw me in a way that I didn't quite recover.
Too sharp of a turn.
Yeah, you know, and so like I think rewatching it knowing it's coming might be better.
It's still torturous.
Yeah.
That 30 minutes.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I mean, because I've seen this movie a lot of times. I legitimately, probably every other year, I'll end up getting around to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because it makes me feel so much. Because it is, you're down for the ride.
It's the one that elicited the biggest emotional response from me. Like, I needed, when I say Don't Breathe 2 was my palate cleanser.
Yeah.
I watched Don't Breathe 2 literally the same day I watched this. And it's like, for Don't Breathe 2 to be a palate cleanser, like...
It's a heavy... Yeah.
Did I even bring that up in my recent watches?
I don't think you did.
No, I didn't.
That was not in your freshman.
Don't Breathe 2. I watched that. There's a whole Patreon episode about it. I liked it. Go for it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
If you want to hear Sam's take on Don't Breathe 2, you gotta pay.
Yeah.
No, like I said, this is my favorite of the three as well. This is a 5-star movie from me. This is, like I said, I've been gushing from the jump. This is, like you said, for what it does it really well. Mm-hmm. But for what it's not for everybody. It is not.
And the ending is so gutsy.
I love it.
I love the ending. Like the last 3 minutes of this movie, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Like
it
really picks it back up for me in those final minutes where like it starts on a really good note and it ends on a really good note. It's just that like that second act that really just, it takes me out. You know, or it took me out. I shouldn't say takes, because I haven't watched this more than once. But it did. It took me out on this view. But that ending scene.
The last two lines are keep doubting.
Keep doubting.
Those are the last two lines of the whole
And then
movie.
she puts the gun in her mouth. And it's just like, oh my God.
See,
like,
and I love that too, because that can mean so many different things to so many different people.
oh yeah.
And I think, yeah, like you said, it's perfect, but to me,
it's lost in translation, but it's so much darker than that movie. Like, I mean, that movie's not all that dark.
No.
But it takes that general, like, we're not going to tell you what this person said.
Nope.
We're just going to show you the effect of it.
And my favorite part is
And
they
it's
hint that they
devastating.
might tell you. That's what I
Yeah.
love, is there's like this little
There's a
mini
build-up.
There's a little mini build up in the last 5 minutes where the first 3 or so you're like, oh, what'd she say? What'd she say? Because she whispers something. Spoiler alert, she whispers something to the head
while
of the,
she's in Martyrdom or whatever.
Martyrdom. Yeah.
Martyrdom. Yeah.
Yep. She's in Martyrdom, and she comes out, and she has a message for the people left, the people who are still here, the people who did this to her for this result. She gives them the result, and they tease you at the last 5 minutes. For 3 minutes, they're like, it's coming. We're going to tell you. We're going to tell you. And then the very last scene, the last 2 words are, keep doubting, pistol in mouth, pull the trigger, bang, boom. There you go. That's
Gruesome.
the movie. It's great. I love this movie.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, I think when I first watched it, the ending, I was still so sour from the second act.
Did nobody tell you
that the ending? Well, I knew
Did
it
you
was
went blind?
Yeah, I mean, I went in blind to like this entire, like, I didn't watch anything.
Well, I know you've
before
never
this.
seen any of these, but did you go in blind? Like, nobody even warned you about Martyrs being super, like, heavy, intense in the middle?
Not in the middle. I mean, I knew I was in for something that was a little heavier, more extreme, but like, man, that second act just like it pushed a little too far for me.
It's heavy.
It's just that like, and I like how they kind of make mention that it's like, oh, it's mostly women, because I'm like, are we going to talk about the fact that it's like only young women that they're doing this to? And they bring it up. I'm like, okay, good for you, chaps. Like, but shit, man, I just that first viewing, that ending, I was just so soured already that it was kind of like,
Kind of went right over your head.
Why did I watch this? And the more
you sound more excited talking about it now than you did.
Well, and that's the thing. The more I think about the ending, the more I'm like, God, that ending really fucks. But I'm also like,
the whole movie fucks. The middle part's just heavy.
I don't know, man. That middle part is such a hard hill to get over.
And it is. And
I
warned people, for the record, when I was recommending this movie at Blockbuster at the best job I've ever had. I warned everybody.
Did you have a lot of repeat customers?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did, dude. They knew me by name. They'd be hyped if I was there. I felt like Randall in Clerks. I felt like King of the World.
Did they Randall and Clerks? God, I love that movie. I know it's not a horror movie, but I want to do a Kevin Smith episode.
Dude. I mean, we could do
horror.
Tusk.
We could do
and
Tusk.
Red State.
Yeah, in Red State.
Hey man, I liked Red State. Red State fucks.
I actually love Tusk.
Do you love Tusk?
It's gross and disgusting and stupid, but I love it.
What about what is it? Hoosiers?
Yoga Hosers.
Yoga
I haven't seen
Hosers,
that yet.
yep.
I need to.
That one's where the shark has been jumped a mile back. If you thought Tusk was where the shark gets jumped, no, that's still timid waters.
No, they didn't jump a shark in Tusk. They jumped a walrus.
All right, that's true. Fair play. Fair on you.
Oh, that was a bad joke.
It's all right.
You don't have to humor me.
I'm a dad. I can appreciate a good dad joke. But yeah, so yeah, this movie's great. It's not for everybody. And that's what I would tell people when I was at Blockbuster. I was like, yo, if you're a real like big horror fan, you need to watch Martyrs at least once. Mm-hmm. Everybody who's a big horror fan should watch Martyrs once. And I'm not talking in like a Serbian film type of way, because that's not this movie. As heavy and as fucked up as this movie is, it's not in like the super extreme gore horror, you know what I'm talking about, like a Serbian film or something in those veins. But it is a super heavy movie, and it I don't know, man. To me, the ending was beautiful. It made me think. I felt all the emotions in this movie. There's even a sense of joy kind of, when the revenge is, you know what I'm saying? Like there's, I don't know. This is a roller coaster of emotions, and I love the ride.
I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Because this is something that I was thinking of a few days after I watched Martyrs, thinking over the final moments. You mentioned you read a lot of Stephen King.
Yeah.
Have you read Revival?
I have not.
Okay. Well, never mind. I don't want to ask you this question then, because it kind of contains spoilers for Revival. You should read Revival, though, especially if you like this.
Yeah.
Because Revival has some of the same things to say thematically.
Okay.
I would say. It's
I'll throw it on my list.
very interesting. It's one of King's bleakest endings, and I absolutely love it.
Even more bleak than the movie The Mist?
Yeah. I'm not even kidding.
To me, that's my favorite part about The Mist.
The ending to Revival is so fucked up that, like...
And you're talking read the book. There's no movie,
read the
right?
book. There's no movie yet.
Good.
Mike Flanagan was going to do the movie, and then he turned in his script, and Warner Brothers was like, no, we're not doing this. And I'm like, why? Oh my God, a Flanagan revival is all I want. Like,
because Warner Brothers doesn't fuck.
Warner Brothers doesn't like money, or at least my money.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of like money.
Okay, they like my money because they released James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
I was gonna say, and that's a movie that slaps too.
Oh God, I love that movie.
That's a different podcast.
That is a different podcast. That's also a Patreon episode on Backlot if you want it. I sound like I promise these movies are coming up organically just because I've seen them in the last month. But I
check out the Ghoul Fields.
Oh yeah, check out the Ghoul Fields.
that one I'll do for you. That one's not selfless.
That was organic.
That was totally organic.
Yeah, so out of these three, I definitely think Martyrs is the best one.
What's
my initial review was a 2.5, but I think I'm gonna bump it up to 3.
Ooh.
I know.
Damn.
I know.
When you
John,
said you were bumping it up, I was so hyped. I was like, I just changed this man's life. He's gonna give it like a 4 stars. Solid 4. Yes. 3. I'll take it.
You know what?
I'll take it.
It might.
No. I'm not trying to convince you.
No. I'm saying it might go up even further in a few years if I rewatch this. I don't know if I can. I'm not gonna lie, man. That second act really got me.
Hey, man, that's okay.
I just the punching stuff.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that gets me because that sound design.
Yeah, they did a good job.
It's perfect because like you
know
genuinely
what they do?
believe
they take
that
a
it's
piece
like
of ham and they just punch it.
Probably.
That's legitimately.
Really?
That's really what, probably what it is. Or they'll like slap it on a table.
I know the stabbing sounds in Psycho were literally Alfred Hitchcock stabbing a cantaloupe.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh God, that's really effective because like the sound design in that shower scene makes that scene. It's disgusting.
Well, and the chocolate syrup.
Yeah, and the chocolate syrup.
Gotta have that chocolate syrup.
Yeah, man. So
I 3 stars for Martyrs, which makes me have to ask what the rest of them got.
What did Inside get? Inside got 2.
That's where I had Inside.
And where is my High Tension? Oh, I thought I gave High Tension 2.5. It says 2 on here, but because, like I said, there was stuff I really liked. It was stylish. I was out of the movie off and on for, you know what I mean? But
you don't need to sell it to me, Sam. I'm a fan of the movie. I love the movie.
It's just funny. Like, for so long, you've been like, oh, you gotta watch Martyrs. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad that I did. Bummed. Because, like, I mean, like you said, it might not be one that you watch for enjoyment, but it was an experience. And it was a major blind spot for me. So I'm glad I watched it.
I mean, I guess I'll take that.
It's just...
I'm so heartbroken inside. And it's not your fault, obviously. You do what you do. You like what you like. But, for 2 years, I've been hyping this up in my head. Like, I'm gonna rock his world. He's gonna be like, wow, man. And I thought I had a horror podcast, and I knew what you taught me about horror with the movie Martyrs. Like, in my head, that's how this whole conversation went.
Trust me, though. I did learn a lot about me and my tolerances from this episode. I love that we got to do this. I'm glad you got to be on it.
Me too,
honestly, this is just when you sent me the original versus remake idea for Martyrs, and have you seen the remake of Martyrs?
I don't think I got through it.
Okay, I was about to say I've heard it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
I think it's only got I was doing some research, and I'm pretty sure it only has a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm like, man, horror movies are typically rotten, but that's
you can't Americanize new French horror.
No,
you just can't.
Well, it's okay. The only think about J horror too.
Yeah,
that was coming out around the same time as all
Ring,
of these were
Ringu,
The Ring with Naomi Watts is really the only
the
American
only
remake that's
was
worth
good.
anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So historically, Hollywood just stopped trying to remake these foreign movies because it just doesn't work as well.
Yeah, you guys can't.
Although, Let Me In was really good.
All right, yeah.
Let Me In is the exception to the rule. Because this might be a hot take, but I actually kind of like it even better than the Swedish one. And I love the Swedish one.
I mean, they're both. I think you could go plus minus on either.
Yeah,
6 one, half dozen of the other. Honestly, they're both really good. They're both great movies.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
No, see that one doesn't bother me.
But only one has the breakup song by. Can't remember the band name. That's the scene I always think of though when he puts on the record. We had broken up before just an hour ago.
Oh shit! No.
And he's doing that awkward dance and trying to put the moves on Chloe
Almost
Moretz.
like a Buffalo Bill style dance, honestly. Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
Oh my god.
I think we should just end it there.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna end on a higher note than that. So, John, thanks for coming on. Thanks for talking some new French extreme movies. I'm so glad we finally got to talk your favorite movie, Martyrs.
I am pretty hyped that I got to talk about it.
And
I'm hyped that I got to hear your input. And I am shattered and heartbroken that Casey and Blake couldn't be here.
I know.
R.I.P.
We're gonna get you on an episode with all three of us because this was way too much fun. I can't keep you all to myself.
There's a lot to go around. Don't tell my fiance. No, thanks for having me. Yeah. I had so much fun, and I'm just geeking out. I'm fanboying so hard in this studio today. I'm not gonna lie.
It's so good to have you here, and I geek out and fanboy over this studio every time I come in. I always find something new on Casey's shelves. It's great.
Good job, Casey.
Yeah,
proud of you.
Good job, Casey. But yeah, man, I think that's about it. John, did we mention that it's your birthday?
Oh, no, it's my birthday.
It's John's birthday today when we're recording this, not the day that you're listening. But anyways, tell John happy birthday if you have a chance. John, you're on Facebook, right?
Nope.
Oh, you're not?
Nope. Just
Wait,
Twitter.
How do we Facebook message?
Because I used to be on Facebook.
Oh,
and you
okay.
can delete your Facebook without deleting your Messenger.
Okay, well, we need to get your phone. I need to actually get your phone number at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, but, okay, so follow John on Twitter.
Yeah.
What's your Twitter handle?
Hunterish88.
Hunterish88?
Yep.
That's you?
That's me.
I've been talking to you for so long going I know him somewhere. I just don't know who he is. Dude, that's so incredible.
Oh man, I love this moment. That was so beautiful.
God.
You guys should have just seen Sam's face. Too bad this isn't a visual platform because that was beautiful.
I do kind of wish we had the video component for that moment.
Oh my god, that was so gorgeous.
Oh man.
See what you guys miss out on when you bail on your own show.
So yeah, go follow Hunterish88 on Twitter.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, John. Thanks for coming on the show today, man. It's been a blast. I'm so glad we finally got to do this, and we'll have you on again for sure, brother.
I can't wait. Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is Sam the Damned Lenz signing off. We want to thank John for coming on, and as usual, you can get movie news, reviews, all that kind of stuff at backlot605.com. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at backlot605. You can join us on the Facebook film community group for Sioux Falls, and yeah, Patreon, where we review new releases weekly. We've recently done Don't Breathe 2, Old, The Suicide Squad, those types of things. So yeah.
Get the bonus eps.
Get a little fun stuff in there. And yeah, we'll catch you next month on SlashLot, and we'll catch you next week on Backlot 605. Thanks all, and you want to say it with me, John? We're going to spook you later.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.